Up next, we are talking with Sandi Kurland, who is my counterpart in the CADA Castle world. Ooh,
You're doing better part or
the
no?
better part, absolutely. Yes, you're the top. I'm like, yeah, for sure. Sandi oversees our CASL program, the California Association of Student Leaders. Sandi, just tell us a little bit about CASL. Uh, what is that organization? What do you do?
Yeah, I'm thrilled to say that I have the privilege of guiding that other piece of CADA Castle, which is, as Jeff said, the California Association of Student Leaders. And it is modeled after CADA, in which we do a lot of the same things. And it culminates in our conference, the CASL State Conference, where we also have area meetings, meet the pros, speakers, and all those things. The big difference is that it's all put on by students. So one of the really cool aspects of it is that when you take your students, they see other students running out those pieces.
Yeah, which is, I mean, an amazing thing to see as an advisor. Just watching it all happen and unfold was it was inspiring to go back to my campus and let my students then take the reins. Now, last year we left the CADA convention in Reno, came home, and everything shut down a week later, including the Cafe Castle, the 2020 state conference. And so, how did you guys handle that?
Yeah, so it was, we had about 8 to 10 days when we learned that we were going virtual. So it's interesting looking back now to see all of that. But I recall T Street calling me and saying, like, you got this, we got this, I'm here to help you. Like, what do you need? And it was so funny. I remember giving our password to all of our speakers to go on Instagram Live. And luckily, we with Castle had actually been using Zoom for the past couple of years. So we kind of knew a little bit about that, and we put like Meet the Pros and things like that on there. But really, we kind of did a lot of it just, like again, in 10 days on Instagram Live, and everything was very fluid and moving fast. And we had over 10,000 people joining us, so it was great. But we learned a lot, and this year it will look a little different.
Which takes us to this year and the CASL State Conference this year, again, going to be virtual. So what's that going to be like?
Round two, you learn. So we will be using different platforms and Instagram Live. Although we have had requests for still maintaining our breakfast and lunch and dinner through Instagram Live fun things, but we will definitely this year going for again trendy, but a little more the professional look of really setting our speakers up for success and a great sound system and all those things, and a really easy navigational website to use. And we hope that it allows you to see how good a virtual conference can be. Because I think this year our focus became not just content and curriculum and all those other amazing things that we do, but it was also like, how can we do it so well on Zoom that people will want to stay engaged the entire time, as opposed to just looking at a screen. We've definitely adapted and learned all the interactive tricks of keeping people engaged.
Yes, that interaction's super important. You were talking about the breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I know that's like the secondary part of all the amazing curriculum that you put together, but I can't help but remember Tanner Schinderly on the Castle board cooking in his house last year and setting off all the smoke detectors in his house. It was like one of those moments that was just so much fun to watch as an attendee. And hopefully Tanner will do some more cooking for us.
I guess there's a reason it's called live, which is like, no joke. It's not like the cooking shows on TV where they say it's live and then they like pull something out of the oven. Ours was like really live, and let's go with it. So fun to see that behind the scenes piece. Like a lot of people told us that with Castle, like you usually don't get to see the behind the scenes part of Castle, and
Mm-hmm.
all you see is the end product. Where this felt a little more like we took them on that journey with us, which
Yeah,
was
totally.
really fun.
Absolutely. Now, we have a number of different programs within the CADA and Castle organization from our area conferences. And then we have Castle, and then we have Camp. Like, how do you kind of view Castle being its own little island? What's different about that versus some of the other events? And, why would an advisor go to Castle in addition to all the other events that we put on?
Yeah, well, great question, Jeff Colbert.
Threw you a hardball there.
Yeah, well, I will say that a number of reasons. I think number one is because it's put on by students, obviously, and so you have their perspective. Like as often as I want to think I am genius and brilliant, I will come up with things and think, and the students be like, you know what, we really think it would be better like this way, or look, and you're like, oh, that's so interesting to once again have the 13-year-old to 18-year-old perspective. And I think that's what makes it great, is really we are very catered to what students would want on the other end of it. And I would also say, while you all are at CADA, CASL is their CADA. And so I remember going to my first CADA and being so excited. And I talk fast anyway, but I would come back from CADA and just be like full of energy and, couldn't wait to change my campus. And my students were never quite as excited as I was about the whole thing. And I was like, oh, they didn't experience it. And then I realized that if you want them, to not be your followers, but to be other leaders, like you need them to experience their own conferences and come back with their own ideas. And really, that's the only way to move your campus culture forward, is to have them truly invested in being stakeholders, or otherwise they don't really have that why that we always talk about. They're just doing it because we've asked them to do it. So,
and that's, it's so true. One of the things, like, the schools that don't send their students to these events and to these opportunities, their kids aren't getting that outside perspective from others. And that's, that networking with other students from across the state. I remember my kids coming back from CASL just talking about, wow, I can't believe this is happening down in LA or up north in the Eureka area. It's like they get that perspective of other students' lives and experiences. All right, so going to the fun stuff for our theme. We've got the Leadership Mixtape this year. Sandi Kurland, I have seen you boogie down at CASL conferences. I know you have some fun memory from some 80s, 90s era music.
Oh gosh, it's funny. I think as a kid, I was very serious. And so like, it's interesting to be like, loving Backstreet Boys and whatnot, NSYNC right now. But I think during the time periods, I was all about Alana Morrison and her serious lyrics of, Irony and Jagged Little Pill album and like all of those. And I think like her whole vibe like spoke to me about things. And I think that's one of the things CADA Castle has done for me, is sort of taught me that there's, you can also have fun with a lot of this stuff as well. So I'm grateful to them for that.
I can see you rocking out to Alanis Morissette for sure. All right, be sure to stop by the virtual exhibit hall and click on the CASL booth, and Sandi and some of the other adult CASL board members will be in there to answer any questions that you might have about the CASL program, the conference, the state board, and all that good stuff. Thanks so much for joining us, Sandi.
April 9th through the 12th. Make sure you come to the CASL conference, and we're excited to see you there. So thanks, Jeff.